I got to click live on a bunch of other things because Facebook is no longer whatchamacallit, StreamYard friendly. So I go live here, and then I have to hit go live on the Instagram, right?
And then connect it.
Yep. And then once I'm live on the actual my Facebook page, then I can, what can I do? I can share it to P3. Oh, see? So if you went on my page, like, it's like the extra universe of choices we didn't make. And then the world can watch me go send it to the group of P3. It didn't used to be this complicated, Bailee, but I figured it out. I will jump through all the
extra than I could ever figure it.
Well, I invested in the StreamYard because it was like a way for me to keep myself on track with the show. Because I was getting down on myself, you know. It gets hard sometimes, that voice in your head. But I had signed up for the whole year already with StreamYard because I was like, just do it, because I spent the money on it. And now it's like StreamYard, it's Facebook got all cuckoo. You can't have the same sort of thing streaming at the same time. So StreamYard can't really do the whole yard. It's crazy. Anyway, while I click all the buttons to get everybody streamed. Hi, everybody. Look at this beautiful, beautiful guest I have. I didn't mean the dog, but we'll show him again. I was finishing the end of the story, which was, this is Milu, or we call him Hokey Pokey, or my potato, because he's overweight. And Bailee's being so sweet. She was like, oh, don't worry about it because he's so happy. And I'm like, yes, but he's allowed on everything. And I'm worried he's going to jump off and like twist an ACL or something. And it's going to be like a $4,000 surgery. That's why I'm worried. I'm like, oh my God, we got to worry about your weight because I don't want to, I need you around for a long time. Hashtag trauma. Look at this. Okay, so I got something right because we have the whole 2 people watching. Yay. Bailee may be one of them on her phone in the other room, but I'll take it.
I told my coworkers out there, I was like, get on.
Oh, that's so sweet. This is welcome to my tiny little, I call it a wannabe stream, but sometimes podcast is just clearer because that's what people, even if you're not on actual Apple, right? Everybody thinks if you're doing something in conversation, it's a podcast, right? But I kind of started this little diddly because I'm almost 10 years, will be 10 years in this, what we call the specialty sexual health and wellness adult retail side, right? And kind of through my career, my focus moved from lubricants only to kind of condoms and lube, and now everything else in between. And as things kind of evolved, I was feeling frustrated when things were switching around in the industry, that there wasn't a lot of accessible, really easy information. Basically, people were not talking about the things that I wanted to talk about, especially after I learned something. I was like, what? Why isn't anybody saying this? So somehow I just decided to speak into the ether here, as they call it. And then I made this platform, and I want it to be a platform and a place that anyone can share any valuable insight with our friends, our peers, and other people. But today is extra special to me because it's something else I just care about, where we get to celebrate successes. So yay! It's designed for sharing and learning together. So today, I'm going to let her introduce herself in a little bit here. Ooh, we got a thumbs up, Bailee. You're getting thumbs up already. Because we got to celebrate, and because she just kicks ass. And I got to spend time with some of the other Dick and Jane people just last week. It's just kind of like serendipitous. There we go. Beautiful timing. Bailee, she's had this like great inspiring journey over at Dick and Janie's Naughty Spot. They're in South Dakota, 3 stores, I believe, right?
We have 2.
2 stores. If you guys haven't checked them out, I'm going to let her do all the stuff, but they are some of the retailers out there that know what they're doing. They give a shit. And Bailee, we're going to celebrate, and then I'm going to pick her brain. So I'll give you a minute if you just want to go ahead and tell people like, hey, how we connected, why you're here, why you give a shit, and then we'll celebrate like how awesome you are at Dick and Jane's.
Sure. So my name's Bailee. I've been with Dick and Jane's Super Spot, which is in Rapid City, South Dakota. I've been here for 6 years now. I just celebrated my 6 years.
6 years.
I have worked in our Sturgis location as well, just cover things that are there. Sorry, my husband just commented.
Yay, Joey's your husband. Look at that. Woo-hoo. I was trying to make a cool banner. Wait, because I'm a producer today. 6 years. All right, keep talking.
So I have covered in both locations. And I met Tori during one of the shows. I believe it was Amni the first time that I met
Was
you.
it Amni or was it Altitude? I mean, I probably saw you at both.
You saw me at both, but I believe I met you at Amni at the beginning of the year first, and then saw you during
right, because we
Altitude.
were talking about just like crazy stuff about like polyisoprene versus polyurethane and all the stuff that I didn't even know, right? It's like I'm learning so much from people on the floor like you that I was like, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot to take in at those shows.
Oh my goodness. They're so valuable though, right?
Oh yeah. I tell all my coworkers when they get the chance to go, I'm like, you need to go because it's good for networking. It's good for getting to know the manufacturers one-on-one and talking to people like yourself that are so knowledgeable on specific products. You can't find that everywhere.
Yeah, and sometimes just like I was being frustrated about why I even started the show in the first place. Sometimes it's hard to talk to the right people. There was a time in my life where I had to be the person on the phone being like, hello, I need the buyer or I need whoever's in procurement, and you get passed around a lot. It can be the same thing when you're trying to find, the right people to talk to. Someone at the booth will know what to do.
Right. Any kind of personal questions too that you have about the brand. It's nice to get to know that person so you can just directly go to them and be like, what do I do with this?
Oh yeah, truth. No, and for me, it's like I don't know what I don't know, right? So it's great to interact, right, with people like you, people from the booth, ask questions in a real way, because it's like, hey, just because it's not something I've thought of doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't have the same question. So, anyways, thanks for coming. Are you feeling? I know you're a little nervous. How are you feeling about being on the show now?
I'm still nervous, but I'll get through it.
So I was like, I can't overthink any of this because I would get nervous too. This is my freaking house. And then if you overthink anything, it's like, oh God. That's why we hold the potato.
Yeah. You know what? If I had my cat with me, I would be doing the same thing. That's why I didn't do it at home.
Well, I enjoy kind of the ambiance here. We're like, ooh, we can make this a merchandising session next time. Or like, take us around the room and tell us why. Right, your top sellers are here and all that fun stuff. That would be a good one. Okay,
yeah,
so 6 years. Tell me, what kind of initially attracted you to Dick and Jane's Naughty Spot, and what was that? What were you doing before that? Was there a weird transition, or was this like your calling?
So originally it was, I'm going to be honest and say it wasn't my calling. I worked at Victoria's Secret for a few years, so I got to
bonded about this, right? That's why we're brainwashed.
Yeah, so I got to know what it was like to fit a woman into a bra that's comfortable for her, because no one's body is the same. And so when I visited Dick and Jane's, I saw their lingerie section and I was like, oh, I bet it's so fun to order for that. So from day one, it's just been my goal to expand our lingerie and work on it and get to know the brands, which super thankful. Those shows, Altitude especially, I've learned so much and met so many people that I can work one-on-one with. But
yeah, I think Boss just signed. We'll be at Altitude too, so that's official.
Ooh, it's so fun.
In case you gotta bring it back to David. You might have to go to at least one of the shows, sir.
But yeah, I just saw an opportunity. They were hiring, so I applied, and I had a friend that worked here, and I was like, will you put in a good word for me? And
Aww.
David actually called me back and hired me, so I was grateful.
That's awesome. And so I'm assuming you feel like you've been able to grow and blossom and learn new things. But it's been 6 years. I'm sure it didn't start that way.
No.
Do you want to maybe tell us, because I know a lot of people think, I don't know, maybe they romanticize working in an adult shop sometimes. And it's like, it's a job like anything else where I'm uncomfortable for like the first year before I really feel like I know what I'm doing. So obviously being there in 6 years, do you feel like sharing maybe some of the biggest challenges you might have initially faced in the early years?
Yeah, so I didn't know anything about any toys. To be forward, I've never used one before I worked here. I never even really seen one or anything like that. So getting to know the product was a lot to take on, and I was just like,
Or
Oh
like,
my
right,
gosh.
what's body safe silicone and what's TPE and why do I care about molders? Motors? Wow, it's only Tuesday, guys.
But
Well, no,
yeah,
like for
it's
me,
difficult.
I didn't even realize that condoms and lube were a medical device until I started selling them. It's insane.
Right. I didn't know anything. So getting to know Eldorado's got a great program that you can go through where they teach you in those classes all of that. And so people should definitely take advantage of that if they're not, because that's where we start off is we learn those courses first and then we continue our growth learning the rest of the items.
Oh, that's an awesome El Dorado shout out. Maybe Nathan's watching, but yeah, they do a really great training program and just care about education. But that also seems to be a huge thing. You kind of hit the nose on the head. Like, how do you overcome any of this stuff? You have to just be willing to learn, right? Or have the conversation.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's still to this day. I walk around and people tell me fun little what I call them like nuggets, like a little piece of treasure. You never know what you're going to learn as you start having conversations, or at least like open up your mind to the side of business that is retail, and being on the floor is a huge part of that, right? You're the first person that's going to see what product is moving and what trends are moving and what's not, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
So yeah,
oh, I'm
share a
sorry.
story, but then otherwise, I was like, I didn't mean to cut you out. I was gonna be like,
No.
let's just like gloat a minute, like let 6 years. That's a big deal. I shared like, hey, let's talk about you and some milestones or achievements you reached in these 6 years. Like, let's like, hey, let's just talk about you and how you did it. There's a lot of people out there that are either wanting to get into this industry or like maybe have hurdles of their own trying to figure out how to grow. Let's get the can we get the gushy stuff?
Yeah, let's get into it. One of the reasons why I came to Dick and Jane's, another one. So where I was before, it's a big store. Everyone's probably got one in their town or city where they're from. Victoria's Secret. Everyone's got one. So that just means that it's a very big company. But I knew that Dick and Jane's in Sturgis, which is about 30-40 miles from our Rapid store. I knew that that was locally owned. So when I applied here, I asked my friend who worked here, I was like, that's locally owned as well, right? And she said, yeah, yeah, by David Eliason. So getting to know him and his business, I wouldn't get this opportunity to learn like profit margins or how we price items. I wouldn't get to know any of that if it wasn't for this store and the education that he's been able to give me on business. I
That's a
never would have
huge
known
point,
any of it.
right? Because you walk into Victoria's Secret and it's like, here's the SOPs. It's tagged for you already. Here you go. Done, done, done.
Hmm.
Everybody's piece has already been dished out, which is like, yeah, again, something we agree on. Where I was like, what initially drove me to this business, other than that my husband got a job at a lubricant company, but that's another show and another bottle of wine. Um, was that there was a lot of flexibility, and I find it a very forgiving sort of industry that a lot of other
Hmm.
places wouldn't let you try out different product or marketing campaigns, and you don't have the opportunity to launch as many items. It usually takes years for some of the items that I see people pump out in 3 months. I'm like, how did you come up with another 300 SKUs this year? But they do it.
Right.
So like, yeah, right, the hands-on learning that's available. It's been like, maybe they'll teach you how to sell, which we'll get into some of that in the brainwashing of the limited, right? But I feel like, yeah, same. I had the pleasure of sitting in a lot of meetings back in the lubricant days and learning how people. I still find it very curious, right? Again, here's the show. Why people make the decisions that they make,
Yeah.
especially as things are changing, right? We spoke about it before on many shows, but right, economy hashtag that's out there. We don't need to make this a political show, but there's things about our retail industry that we have to adapt to and change, like Amazon as a competitor who's like not a competitor, right? Leaning into the experience. There was a time and place where DVDs probably took up 30% of your store, and now you maybe, I don't even know if you stock DVDs, right? So
Yeah.
it's keeping up with that kind of stuff. No, this is exciting. What other
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
stories or like favorite items or like favorite customers you ever got to interact with?
Um, I
This is where
really
we
like our
celebrate you, girl.
customer.
Story
I
time.
really like the funny customers that come in and they just say some of the most off the wall things. It's so random, and you're just like, at a normal store, I wouldn't have probably heard this, but I understand how to deal with it. You can either
Was that
laugh about it.
shocking to begin to work through, or was it like challenge accepted?
Well, at VS, I heard a lot of weird things there too. Mostly I knew that they were joking, but then you come into this kind of environment where you're surrounded by phallic shapes, and there's so many people that are like, "Oh my gosh,"
Yeah.
and so it's like I try to laugh with them instead of being upset about it, because why be upset about it? Just laugh with them because they're just living their
Yeah,
life. They
why
might
give
be
anybody
comfortable.
power over your emotion? That's like the lamest thing
Yeah.
ever.
Well, they might be uncomfortable in here, and my job is to make them feel comfortable enough to want to shop with us and become loyal customers. And the best way I can do that is by connecting with them on something. So if I laugh at their joke that's not really funny, it's making them feel better.
Yeah, and at least kind of like sugarcoats things maybe. What's your go-to like greeting or fact-finding question? How do you ice break for some of those customers?
So I'll just start from the beginning. As soon as they walk through the door.
I'm like, we can
So
role play if you want to. Don't get me started, right? We're brainwashed. I was like, no, I'm just curious because I one of my tips is whenever someone's hesitant, I'm always like, they're like, oh no, I don't need a condom. Tell me why you don't need a condom, right? Like,
if
keep this
right.
conversation going. What's going on?
Exactly. So they come in and I'm like, "Welcome to Dick and Jane's. Do you have your ID on you?" And
Mm-hmm.
some people get kind of upset when you ask for their IDs. So to make them feel better, so that way we're not having a back and forth about why I need your ID, I just say, "Take the compliment and run with it, but let me see your ID first." And
See,
they
that's cute.
usually
You've already
laugh.
disarmed it.
Right. They usually laugh at that. So then we just move on. And I'm like, "What you on the hunt for? Have you ever shopped with us before?" Ask them all those kinds of questions. And if they haven't, then I'll offer to help them find what they're looking for. Or I'll just do like a quick tour. Like, this is here, this is here, this is here. These are our main walls. If you're looking for something specific, I can help you.
That's
You
pretty
know,
brilliant because you can't, especially with your ID check, kind of turning it like you've diffused the bomb before it even started. You've got an opportunity to make sure that customer knows you're approachable. Versus, I know other stores, someone walks in and they're super like headphones on, maybe the sunglasses, and they're like, nope, like they're not ready to talk yet, but you still need to make sure you kind of are like checking in on them. Those are a tougher nut, but like, right, you already have to talk to this person. That's pretty brilliant.
yep, yep. Try to keep it lighthearted because I know that they're probably upset about that. Obviously, they're old enough to be in here, but we still require it.
Yeah, I think look at to again because we're bragging about you. Look at how smart you are. I think that's actually something I read in the Chris Voss book, the Never Split the Difference. He's an
Mhm.
FBI negotiator, so he's teaching you how to negotiate, something that I suck at. But one of the things in when you have to have hard conversations, like I have to check your ID. Sorry, it's the law. Is go ahead and kind of take the blame or add humor to
Yeah.
it because you've already kind of diffuse the situation. See, you're brilliant. David needs a raise. Just saying. Not David. Just that was me that was like half a social media conversation in my head. I was like, that was me writing at David hashtag needs
Needs a
raise.
raise. Yeah, David does take really good care of us, which
I
is
love to hear
great.
that.
Yeah, he definitely I also know that if I was working at a different store instead of such a small business, I wouldn't be as comfortable to have conversations like raises or anything like that anywhere else. But David is amazing. He's good to all of us.
Yeah, it's another great thing. We were talking about, maybe working for a Fortune 500 company versus an owned by a person company, which I'm a fan
Yeah.
of because not only do you have more flexibility, you can learn things. It's nice to be able to speak to somebody as a person that I am a person, right? When
Yeah.
you don't value your people, that's the quickest way to drive your corporation down, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he does a great job taking care of us. It might kind of kill the mood, but I'm gonna give you a scenario that
Do
will
it.
always stick with me.
Hey,
So,
it's your show too.
so my cousin passed away a few years ago, and David was in town during that when I got that phone call here at work. And it was me and another girl closing, and luckily he was here, and he was like, "What can I do for you? Do you need a ride home? Do you need me to get you a lift? What do you need from me?" And I was like, I need to go home." So he stayed here and he stayed here and let me go home to be with my family during that time. And that's just something that's always stuck with me because at my other jobs, it wasn't that forgiving.
Yeah, no, at other places, there's a very strict policy, or it's hard to get a hold of someone, or it's like, did you get your shift changed? The idea of asking the
Yeah.
CEO to cover your shift is right because it's not they're so far away versus like, it's David's. You guys are all, as Joey put it, part of the family. And in my opinion, if you don't have good people working with you, like what do you have? You have no business.
Right, right. So he's good to all of us. He definitely is a family man, which
Good
makes it
job, David. Looks like we're
easy.
going to keep you.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully he stays here.
Vicky Cortez says David
That's
is
my
always
mom.
amazing, Bailey. We got mom. Hi guys. This is exciting.
I brag about working here all the time, especially to my husband. I see him every day, so he hears the good, the bad, and the ugly, all
That's
of
so
it.
special, considering I know some people maybe have a harder time based off of who they live with or how they were raised or what societal expectations they have. I people in my family sometimes will say I sell medical devices, and they're not wrong. But I love all the family support here. So cheers to
No,
you guys.
I totally understand that. My great grandma, she passed away, God bless her soul, but she's Catholic and she's like, "Where do you work?" And I'm like, "At a retail store selling clothes." I couldn't ever bring myself to tell her where I worked.
Like I work for a guy named David. He's got a
Yeah.
store. We sell a lot of things.
Oh, I wasn't wrong about the clothes.
Yeah, right. Or I just say I'm a wannabe podcaster.
I love watching your podcast. I think they're interesting. Like
Oh,
I
you're
haven't been able
adorable.
to watch all of them through sometimes, but I just watched the one with I forget his name, but you guys were talking about DVDs.
Oh, Chris K at
Yeah.
Store Erotica. He's awesome. I need to call him. I hopefully will see him in July as well. Are you guys going to ANME?
Yep, it'll be me and David.
Oh, fun. Okay, yay. Well, so I'll reach out later. I'll just make an appointment with you, and David can just show up. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what he's doing
We'll make
anyways.
the decisions without you, David. Although I'm pretty sure you guys should be decently up to date. I saw some of your other coworkers too, and I think we're gonna hook up on trainings and stuff. I'm getting sidetracked. This is
It's
fun though.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, your story's like super inspiring. How would you hope that your journey could influence others who are kind of working in the retail environment? And it's not a normal retail environment. It never was average, I should say, not normal. But we're, the world is going through some economic stuff.
Yeah.
How do you keep someone? What would you do to inspire them to keep their head afloat?
So a lot that I've had to do given the position that I'm in for the last year, which is managing our Rapid City location. The best thing that I can tell someone is I've been and still am just like a sales associate. I'll never compare myself being more than anyone else, but I had people that didn't really listen to my concerns or anything like that. So being in the position that I am, I want to make all of my coworkers feel comfortable enough to come to me with any issues that they have and not be afraid to tell me because I can help them walk them through it and introduce to them a good way to solve the issue, or I can, if they'd prefer it, I can solve the issue. But I think working together as a team and hearing each other is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what position you're in. If you're not listening to your coworkers, I
And
just,
that can be hard, especially in management or leadership, right? You might have other expectations weighing you down. You can't really listen. And then sometimes you do have to have hard conversations, but
yeah,
you want to still say human, right? Like anybody who's in management knows it, right? You can't just make an exception here and not another one there. It's hard to keep the space to be like, I'm approachable and I'll share, the why or the logic, but it's hard to keep that up.
Well, and even listening to some of the stuff that they bring up, I'm like, yeah, I don't know why it's that way. Let's figure out why it is that way, and can we change it? I know it's probably standard, but can we fix it to where everyone agrees with the way that it works?
Bailee, the new Bob the Builder. Can we fix it?
Yes, we can.
No, I again, it sounds so simple, but maybe it's just because I'm in a different phase of my life. There's a lot of grumpier people, or just more worn out or burnt out. I don't know. I'm one of them too. I'm not judging anybody here, but a lot of times I ask, hey, why is it this way? Or what is happening here? And it's almost like people don't want you to like scratch that itch or pick that scab. It's like, because that's just the way it's been done. Like, I guarantee it. Count, like, next time start asking like fun questions with people or whatever, and just start logging like how many times you're like, well, that's just the way it's done. Like, it is a human trait to accept like the status quo, so to speak. It's kind of hilarious if you think about it that way, because it's like, I'm one of the people. It's like most people just don't want to start, but you're like, no, I'm opening it up. Like, we'll pick that scab. What's going on?
Yeah, I always like asking why. Or if you don't ask, the answer will always be no. I say that to these guys all the time. I'm like, if you don't ask, the answer will always be no,
That's true.
unless told otherwise. So I'm never afraid to ask anyone anything, because you have to get out of your comfort zone to explore your options.
That's a whole other episode, right? Like the idea of being comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's so necessary for me and so painful, right? It's the life of the Libra. I need the pain, but I hate the pain.
Right. You have to do it. It's just part of life.
It's that whole concept of like, even though I wish I could just like bat my eyes and everything's done, right? It's like nothing worth having. You have to have put the work into it, right?
Right.
Like, right, imagine 6 years of Victoria's Secret and then 6 years at Dick and Jane's, right? It's like different. Like, you put a lot of work, and probably more work in to Dick and Jane's than you probably ever would have at Victoria's Secret, but the amount of work feels different, I would assume.
Right. Yep, it sure does. I probably would have still been in the same position at Victoria's Secret, which is another thing too. I like the growing opportunities in this industry.
Oh yeah, I definitely have thrived on that, and then now bite off more than I can chew. But I wouldn't have it any other way, right? That's the nice thing.
You're handling it really well, if you ask me.
It's almost okay, so earlier you're talking about making sure that your team is happy and healthy, and that's important. But also, how do you make sure that the team is in sync, and that making sure that positive customer experience is top of everybody's goal, right? Like, why is that important?
Like, why is it important that we're making the customer?
Why is it important to like not only be a team, but like make sure that your customer experience is number one? Like, why is customer experience even important, right? We're just selling dongs. You've heard that one, right? Or whatever.
It's important everywhere.
Store. People don't need help.
Yeah, right. No, it's important everywhere. I didn't know anything when I first started here. So who's to say the next person who walks through the door knows anything either? They might leave because they're so uncomfortable. And of course, you don't want to be like, how can I help you? How can I help you? You don't want to get up in their space.
The dreaded used car salesman is every salesperson hates being compared to, even the people that sell cars, right?
So I've picked up on customer cues. So when they enter into the store, I feel like I can kind of feel their vibe. If they're super nervous, they're like, "Here's my ID," and you're like, "Okay, cool." So
no, they won't look you in the eye. Don't do that. They'll be like, they won't look at you, right?
Yeah, they're like, there it is. But so watching that, I let them explore the store first before even being like, what are you looking for? I just say, do you have your ID? Let me know if you need any help. And then I let them kind of look around for a little bit, and I watch them. I'm not like a hawk, but I kind of just watch them out of the corner of my eye. And sometimes I feel like when a customer is reading a package for so long, it's because they don't know what it is. I do that.
100%. Oh my goodness. I was talking about it with someone else. It was a different conversation probably last week, where a lot of the intimate products, and now even like makeup, cosmetics, are behind glass at a lot of the convenient
Yeah.
places or CVS or whatever. And I was looking, no joke, for eyelashes. And this was in Las Vegas. And like I had to hit the button and it was like beep boop and like wait for the lady to come. They're like, come to aisle 6. And like she opens it up and I'm just like sweating because I don't even know what I'm looking for yet because I can't see anything. So then I'm like reading, but I'm not reading because my anxiety's taking over. And I bought 3 pairs of eyelashes. I needed 1.
No, yeah,
So maybe
I
there's
get
an
it.
upsell there. I was nervous buying by Tori.
You'll have to like create a series on that.
Oh my goodness. But I'm just like never again, right? So if that's like the experience I have with eyelashes, can you imagine someone and unfortunately I hear this from perceiving femme women that I'm like, hey, trying to sell them condoms or whatever, and people are just like, A, I would so much rather buy them from a store like you. They just don't know that they exist, because the reason is they don't want to run into somebody at like Walmart and then get slut shamed for buying condoms. I'm like, oh God,
Right.
where are we these days?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing though. If they look uncomfortable, I just kind of watch for cues and try not to overboard them with information or make them feel like a car salesman, you know?
No, being approachable is very, very important. And I'll say it again for the cheap seats in the back. Somebody who's walking into your store is there for a reason, right?
Yep.
Whether or not they're comfortable explaining that reason, or they don't know exactly yet, or they're just curious, they're in there for a reason. If they wanted to buy it without eye contact, they would have on Amazon, right? Even the people coming in and showcasing in your store saying, well, Amazon has it for this, they're still going to come back because now they know you have that, and they're going to need to get some commodity at some point. It's just, making it the experience and having the best items and education and team, right? That's how you influence.
Right. I just enjoy it too. Sometimes when like shy customers come in, because I'm like, oh, this is going to be a whole experience for them. And I just try to make it fun. I'm all about having fun. If you don't have fun at a store, you're never going to want to go back. Like, I hate grocery shopping. I try to make my husband do it.
Thankfully, my husband often will do the grocery shopping for me because
Yeah.
it's funny for somebody that like, I'm very social and I love people. I can't handle like the Costco crowds or like the Walmart crowds. I don't know. Maybe that's just my impatience. Who knows?
No, I
I'm
get
just
it.
getting older and weirder, and apparently my husband has to deal with it.
No, I get it because I'm like, why is this person just standing in the middle of the aisle? Please move.
Anyway, I'm like, I'm getting itchy. I'm like picking at myself thinking about it. Okay, clearing my head. Okay, we'll switch gears a little bit because I'm gonna we were talking about the importance of shows for a little bit, and why getting that information, especially like product knowledge and industry trends, they're very important, right? Especially because our business can move a little bit faster. How do you make sure that you're staying up to any of these industry trends and product knowledge when you can't always make it, right? You can't go to a trade show monthly. That's not going to work.
So one of the things that we practice in our store is going to our websites that we purchase from, and I'd say probably weekly we do it. We refresh the page to see what's new, and then we press on that and then read about it there. But as soon as it comes in, we all like gather around and go through the box because we want to know what it is.
Yeah.
What does it do?
So
Why
just
we get those?
curiosity is what like keeps you guys going.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like it's just you care, so you look it up. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know if or sometimes I know people say it's like, well, based off of what customers keep asking me for, like that's what I know is like the new hot item, and then more of that technology is going to come out.
Well, and the rose, that was so big on all
Is it
social
still
media
big?
platforms.
Like I've been looking for like some switch, but I'm like, okay, Rose is still going. I see it.
Yeah, I don't know. We still sell a lot of them. But
Yeah,
then
no,
there's
so I'm
that
saying
whole
like
thing.
Trojan's still going. In my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm not knocking anybody. He's paying the bills, but I'm like, why would you use a latex condom when you could
Yeah, right.
use a polyisoprene or a hybrid one with graphene? I don't know, or at least have a latex one that's got like texture and like extra funness and tattoos or glow in the dark. I don't know.
Yeah, I suggest people are like, "Do you have Trojan?" And I'm like, "Yes, we do, but have you tried this one?
Yeah,
Have you
like
tried this one?"
tell me what you like about Trojan. People just don't realize
Yeah.
that's the only one they know. Because it's what I know, is because it's what I've done, right? Literally,
Yeah.
we're so decision fatigued. There's an amount, I don't know, humans are funny to me. I say that like I'm not one, but like I'm curious as like why I need a certain amount of ritual, but a certain amount of excitement at the same time. It's exhausting.
Right. Nope, I get it.
Okay. So fun. This is good, but also I feel like I've been trying to keep it on track because I'm
I know
attempting to
I'm
get
bad.
the
I'm
cycle under
sorry.
attack. No, it's me. That's why I was like, okay, so we're gonna do I'm gonna give you space for the shameless. Oh wait, I'm gonna like open it up if anyone's got the questions, right? And while I'm like, hey guys, you got any questions for the Bailee? Or about product knowledge or what's going down in South Dakota, you should be able to type them and I can post them. Oh wait, look, I got stuff. Here we go. Treat everyone equal from CEO to janitor. Oh, that's so nice. Joey, you're awesome. Are you like my first fan? Hey Matthew, whatever you said, Bailee, was well said.
Well, thank you.
Aw, and I always do it. Joey, you're so fun. But yes, if anyone has questions, Matthew, I'll show you. If you've got any questions to pick Bailee's brain about her fabulous sales techniques and experiences and dealings with life for 6 years, now's the time. But also, I'm going to give you like, hey, before the official wrap up, the pun. Just hey, shameless plug. Tell anybody why Dick and Jane's Naughty Spot is such a fantastic place to shop. And any exciting, promotions or events you want to talk about personally, wise words of wisdoms. The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, Dick and James is the place to shop because where we are in our location, we support everyone and anyone for who and what and whatever they want to be. And hopefully there's something in here for everybody. Not any one person is the same, so hopefully everyone's body can fit in here. Um we for events, our biggest event of the year is going to be the Sturgis Rally, and this year is the
Oh, the
74th.
motorcycle ones, right? Those are always
Yes.
so much fun. Or at least
Yep.
I
Have you
never got to go, but right, we used to support it.
sorry.
Oh no, I'll read it out loud for the cheapseeks in the back. Mom, we love you. Bailee always makes sure to inform mom and stepdad about the new stuff in store. We have fun with it. Honestly, proud of my daughter and her knowledge. I love that because, right, like, I don't know, if you're going to do anything, be the best, whatever you're doing, is my opinion.
Yeah, my family's been super supportive. Both my parents, my stepdad, everyone. They all know where I work. They know what I do.
That's
Anyone can ask me
awesome.
questions
And come
too.
on, it's at least good stories.
Yeah, right. But we should have David bring you down here for one of the rallies because
Ooh, the rallies are super fun, I've heard, right? Stacy used to go for us.
yes,
And
so
she said people would be just like handing her cash and be like, no, I'm just trying to sell. Like, I'm trying to give it to you. And they're like,
yeah,
to
and
load you
he's
guys
the
up
son
on
of
condoms is what it sounds like.
yeah, definitely should. It'd be the crowd to give condoms to.
Matthew, you're so sweet.
Thank you.
They have Bailee. That what makes it great. Oh, Matthew, you're such a little nugget. Yeah. So, okay, Sturgis. Anything else exciting that you want to share?
We've got a whole bunch of sale products, which we have not really done in the past. We kind of just held on to products until they sold. But to me, that's the best thing that we can do is get it off the shelves and keep selling the products. So
Right.
sale
No.
items. I think I see a sale sign anywhere I go and I'm like, I gotta go look at that. So there
But
not
not your
everyone.
entire store. You just gotta
Oh,
choose your talking points, right?
yes. So I also thought it was a good idea for us to start doing because not everyone can afford $100 toy. And so we do have products that are priced fairly, of course, and competitively. But if you don't have sale products, I feel like you're just not going to reach certain customers.
Yeah. Or it's the same conversation. I have to remind some people, I'm like, no, you need to have a depth of not just like seasonal items, right? Like your lingerie and sometimes maybe toys, but you have to have enough commodities, right? Your lubricants, your condoms,
Yes.
enough items like your pills that keep people coming back in, because you need to rely on those, quick turns and that familiar business all the time.
Yeah. We also try to do giveaways. So like if a company sends us a couple lubes, we'll do like a lube giveaway with customers.
That's
We're
fun.
like, we just did during Halloween, one of the biggest things that I want to start doing more often with the team. We decorated little pumpkins, but the customers got to pick who won. And so
Aw,
out
that's
of
cute.
whoever won from that, they got to pick out a free toy. So we try to
Right, it's
do
about the
fun stuff.
experience, guys. Like, what happened? I know we do all of our dating and shopping off of an app, but did you like, remember we used to just go out places and randomly meet people and have experiences? Now we got to like create that for you in store, because then we're all gonna
Yep.
go crazy.
Well, and I want people to keep coming back. So if I include them in what we're doing, hopefully it'll make them feel a little bit at home in a
And then your
sense.
job's like this, right? Where you're like, sure, I'm just gonna catch up with people and enjoy my life, right? Or like I become a cute little romance novel where it's like your little store and you've got your fun little, regulars and you have conversations. It's perfect.
Yep.
We got Jeff Urban. I get to hear about some new stuff, whether I want to hear about it or not. Very proud of how far she's come along and how passionate she is about her job, team, and her customers. Aw, I love
That's my
this.
dad.
The Bailee Show is what we're here for, to celebrate. 6 years is not easy, my friend, and to like still enjoy what you're doing and be ready and hungry to learn more. That's important.
Yep, I'm always willing to learn whatever I can. That's why I like talking to you when I go there, because I feel like you tell me something new, and anytime I see you.
You could just like sit there all day. Chris will be like, what? I'll be like, she's just taking my notes. It's fine. It's fine.
No, I love it. I enjoy it, and getting to learn and do stuff like this too. This is a big opportunity, I would say. Like,
oh, you're so sweet. Well, anytime, we'll check back in. I mean, I know I've told you this, but I also grew up on the retail sales floor, and I feel like that is a big place that still holds my heart and where I like kind of picked up my bootstraps. So I think it's important to not just celebrate the success, but shine a light on how hard you guys work. And like, if you're not communicating and if you're not selling, there's no business. So
I agree. Yeah.
clap, clap,
It's
clap.
so
If my
fun.
producer were here, we'd put up the cute emojis. Okay. So any final thoughts or advice for aspiring salespeople out there, right? We all can't be 6 years in and just mastering our craft.
Were you talking to me? You
Oh
said
yeah.
any
Like,
questions,
oh yeah,
right?
sorry. Any final thoughts or advice for
I'm
any
so
aspiring
sorry.
salespeople like you? No. It's I do that too. I go off into outer space. It's fine.
I was looking
I'll
for
edit it out later.
comments.
Oh, wait. Yeah. I don't think I have another one, but that doesn't mean somebody's not on Instagram. Maybe I'll check,
No,
because I
that's
got to
fine.
look at that one later.
Any
Or
advice?
there's a lag. Yes. Any advice for aspiring salespeople? Because we're celebrating you, and 6 years is a big deal, and
Yeah,
you've been able to enjoy it the entire time.
just get out of your comfort zone. You gotta get comfortable with talking to people. It is definitely hard to do, but once you get comfortable with that and you get confident in who you are as a person, and you can share your personality with someone else that you don't know, it's an amazing feeling. And at the end of the day, you go home feeling good too.
Aw, just like helping people. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
love it.
that would be another fun one. Or maybe I'll get enough content someday where we put a modge of like people telling stories. And I know like Brian has some back when he was on Fascinations, of just people that walk in that have never had an orgasm or have never been able to ask anybody this kind of stuff, and you just like change their lives. So that's
my
really
favorite
exciting
part.
too. Oh yeah. That's like, I just like helping people. Some people think I'm nosy, probably, but it's really because I'm a people pleaser and I like to help people.
Yep.
Okay.
There's
Well,
not a
thank you,
better.
Bailee, for helping me, so I have content on the show.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll see you in like 2-3 weeks. So we'll hook up then.
Yeah, of
I
course.
can totally send you a copy of this and all the things, but it should just post on stuff in a minute. But like, yay, what an incredible episode. And like super huge thank you for just sharing your journey and being able to celebrate with us. For anybody watching, if you want to get involved or you need to get a hold of Bailee, look, I made a banner, right? You can reach out. Woohoo! Where's the oh dang it, here we go. Tori at paradisemarketing.com. Look it, and it ticks around. Figured it out. Feel free to reach out. Neat. Right? And or do the DMing. I got this one too. The Instagram.
Ooh, that's cool.
Right? And then here's apparently I'm not cool enough to have a whole URL with YouTube, but I'm cool enough that you could search me like that, and that's my little handle. I don't know. So we got some stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Reach out. The whole point of this thing is to help connect people. And if you also have things you want to discuss or articles or you want to come on and preach, that's what it's here for, my friends. And if you need to reach Bailee, or you are also in South Dakota and you're like, I've never heard of Dick and Jane's, but I'm also maybe feeling inspired to go check them out, feel free to reach out. I'll hook you guys all up. And hey, I guess that's my wrap, because I laugh because I sell condoms and I have a 12-year-old dirty mind. We'll see you next Tuesday. I'm hopefully going to try and do another STI update next week, but we'll see if that works out yet or not. But otherwise, reach out. And Bailee, thank you again for coming. I guess I'll let you go back to selling. But it's been a pleasure. Please come back anytime.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday.